Hey guys, it's Wednesday, and it's my turn to go for this week's theme, which, yes, it was my choice, and I chose the slightly controversial topic of sexual magic, or sex and magic. So, we all know that even in today's illuminated, society where we've got scantily clad people in advertisements and sex at the click of a finger on the keyboard, it's still a very taboo topic with a lot of people. And when you mix an already taboo topic with an even more taboo topic, it gets interesting. And this is a topic that I have thoroughly researched and I've had many experiences with, and I always am amused to see the different types of reactions people have when you get into a discussion about the intermingling of sexual activity and magical activity. But why did I choose this topic? Well, it's something that I practice. I'm not going to have any shame in admitting that whatsoever. I am a very sexual person. I am a very passionate person. I am an extremely wow, I can't talk. Potent was the word I was trying to say. Empath. To the point sometimes that it can drive me batshit crazy. So as an empath, you're able to get in tune with other people's emotions. It's not just emotions, however. I think that's a common misconception. Empaths can also connect with other people's energies. So my ability to connect to another person is both my strength and my weakness. And one of the reasons that I practice, it's not the only thing I practice, obviously, but it's some things that I do. Sexual magic is because of my empathy. Because my empathy is so potent, it's kind of like my area of expertise. Yes, I just called myself a pagan whore. Um, but on the serious note, what I'm getting at is I want you to take both of your hands, right? Now, one thing that sometimes people tell you to do is rub them together. No, I don't want you to rub them together. I want you to take your hands and slowly start bringing them closer together, like this. Now, when they're about this far apart, just hold them there. Do not let them touch. Now, I want you to imagine between your hands you have flickers of energy going back and forth. Imagine, if you will, that your hands were kind of on fire, or they were crackling with electricity. Now, when you bring them this close, the forces are going to be drawn to each other, okay? So the electricity between your hands, if you start moving, and obviously it's not necessarily just electricity, I just referred, that's for your visualization, it's just energy. But if you start moving your hands around in a circle, you should notice an odd feeling in the palm of your hand and your fingertips, as almost as if something was caressing it. Now, that is a very basic example of what I use in sexual magic. The connection between two people. Now, yes, I will address the fact that there is the act of sex, there is the act of making love. These, in my mind, are two entirely separate things. One's over here, one's over there. They are not the same thing. Now, that being said, I have done both. Sex is something that I do more than making love because it's not easy to make love a lot unless you're with someone that you love and you have sex constantly. Unlike the previous two on the channel, I will fully admit that I have engaged in one-night stands. I will fully admit that I have slept with people that I don't have romantic feelings for. And some people would call me a whore. Some people do call me a whore. My point is, I use protection, I'm clean, and I'm smart about it. It's my choice, it's my life. I don't view myself as any less of a person because I do these things. But when I do these things, it is a connection between me and that other person. And it is utter abandon. Now, it's very hard for people in their life to completely just let go. And one of the most powerful things, while climax itself is very powerful, and while the energy that is expelled after being built up to the climax is very, very potent in and of itself, there is a more subtle but not less effective energy. And that is the energy between two people dancing that dance. Two people coming together and kind of circling each other like a predator and prey, and it's kind of like a killing dance. And when they finally give in, and when they finally let go, and the passion between them is allowed to be expressed, that connection, that initial connection that will lead to the building up and the climax possibly, that is a power in and of itself that is extremely potent. I don't view the climax as the only point in which energy can be expended within sexual energy and magic. It's not. You can create that energy. You can create energy that is potent enough to conduct a spell or to charge your own self from that dance. It doesn't have to build up to a climax. It can just be a slow and steady burn. It's just like sex itself. You have the sex where you push that person up against the wall and it's all Mortal Kombat, get over here! And you beat the shit out of each other with your nails in your mouth, you're biting. Oh, I'm getting all hot in here. But then you have the slow, the sensuous, the sensual act of sex where it is time consuming and you don't rush and you don't go about it. That is what this is. That is the dance around each other that I'm referring to. It doesn't have to be the actual act of sex. It can be foreplay. It can even be holding hands. When I engage in one-night stands, when I do anything with any other person, it's because my energy is drawn to them. As an empath, I view it as I've got these tendrils of energy that extend out from my aura. And when someone who is an odd connector that matches those tendrils or piques my aura's interest, or I'm drawn to them or whatever, I kind of see these tendrils of energy from mine and theirs intermingling and that spark happening. And it's just that curiosity. It's what happens when our energy intermingles. And then it just goes back to the ability to just let yourself go. And yes, I know society tells us that having lots of sex is bad. Being someone who is sexual makes you an amoral person. I disagree. I enjoy the act, that moment when I am kissing somebody and I pull back and I look in their eyes and they're standing on the precipice, and I know I am as well, the precipice of passion, and they finally just let go. They put the resistance back and they say, you know what, I'm going for this. I'm going to let myself feel ultimate abandon and passion with this person. This is very similar to when you achieve a state of gnosis in meditation. When you achieve that plateau where your mind is clear and when your mind is able to just completely open yourself up. It is the same kind of thing. Now, I've had people tell me this is bullshit, that I just like sex. Yes, I do like sex. But for me, I do achieve a state of excitatory gnosis from the act of sex when it is intermingled with energy. I don't have sex just to come. I don't have sex just to say that I fucked this guy. There are times, well, yeah, I probably do, but even then, there is still some kind of energy within me being drawn to that person and the utter amazement of connecting with someone. You can connect with somebody without being in love with them. You don't have to be in love to be able to connect with someone. How many times in your life have you maybe started a conversation with a person on the street and afterwards you're like, it would have been really interesting to get to know that person. They seemed really interesting, or I was oddly drawn. Not even a conversation, but just that person that across the room or across a crowded sidewalk or a crowded city street for some reason catches your eye and you turn away but you keep looking back. It's that attraction. It's, it draws you into each other. It's that connection between two living beings. Sex is not bad. And I'm not saying that those who choose to be abstinent or to be less proclivious, or I don't know, proclivious, is that a word? Whatever. Less active. I'm not saying that they're missing out. They probably have their own ways of reaching a state of gnosis, of reaching, a state that will allow them to experience something similar. And that's the beauty of the human condition, is that we are like a prism held up to the sunlight. We have so many different reflections upon the wall that each of us experience things in a different way, and none of those reflections is going to be exactly the same. They may look the same, but on closer inspection, they're going to be slightly different. Now, this is not the only magic that I practice. This is just a part of who I am. Now, like I said, you don't have to have sex with a person to be able to experience this. Foreplay, just the touching, just the interaction between two people, flirting, it can build up that energy. Now, when I am engaged in the act, the exchange of energies, have I used this to recharge myself? Yes, I have. It is extremely potent magic. It is, as I believe Jasmine called it, a form of high magic in some people's minds. I have used it to charge my rituals. And I'm telling you, when I do let myself go and my abandonment happens, my wards come down. My defenses are down. It's just my energy mixing with that other person's energy. And when I am done, when it's finished and it's over, I feel like I could fucking fly. So yes, I have used it to power rituals, and it's been some of the most mind-opening experiences that I've ever had in my entire life. Um, yeah, I'm already going on a tangent. This is something that I could talk about constantly. You guys probably know this. But what I'm getting down to is everyone has their own way in which they experience a state of gnosis, or when they achieve a state of believing that they are open to the world. And for me, it is a connection between two people that can be experienced through sexual intercourse, but can also be experienced just by cuddling, just by talking and allowing your energies to intermingle and experience each other. And I've probably talked in a circle a few times and repeated myself because I'm extremely tired today. But I am going to end it at that because it's late and I still have other things that I need to do. But I did want to go ahead and get this out there. And if you guys have any questions, obviously I am more than willing to answer them. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing Ivy and Dean's discussions of this topic. And yeah, blessed be, guys, and I will see you later. Peace.